our respected lecturer. So we are from the M2 class, PPISMP 2526. Today, we will be discussing about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, mental health, well-being,
and human sustainability.
I am Eliziana Aswan as the moderator,
and I am Syafikah as the panelist one.
And I am Shahrul Hayyqal as a finalist too.
Happy watching! Good day to our respected lecturer and fellow students. Today, we will be discussing an important topic related to Fourth Industrial, which is mental health, well-being, and human sustainability. So, the big idea for module is to become responsible global communicators. However, we would like to ask an important question. How can we communicate responsibly if we are mentally exhausted, emotionally overwhelmed, or constantly distracted by technology? Today, we live in a world that never sleeps. Messages, emails, notifications, and AI tools are always active. Because of this, many people, especially students, feel stressed, burnout, and pressured to always be available. In this forum, we will discuss how to protect our human resources, meaning our minds, emotions, and mental health in a highly digital world. I am joined by panelist 1 and panelist 2, which is Syafikah and Hayyqal, who will help us explore this issue from psychological and ethical perspective. To begin with, I would like to ask panelist 1, Syafikah, why is human sustainability such an important buzzword in 2026?
Thank you. Usually, when we hear about sustainability, we will think of trees and carbon footprints. But in human sustainability, it is all about the people. We all have the same brains that we had 1,000 years ago, yet we are still processing more data in a day. So, if we don't sustain our mental health, our global communication systems will eventually fail because the people running them are exhausted.
Thank you for that really thoughtful explanation. What you shared really remind us that technological does not automatically guarantee human well-being. In fact, sometimes progress can unintentionally create new pressures that we are not fully prepared to handle with. Now, let us look at this issue from another angle, the ethical perspective. A panelist 2, from your point of view, how do our current digital habits, such as constant media use and being connected 24 hours, affect our mental sustainability as individual and as a society?
Okay, this is a critical crisis. This is not merely a technological issue but a moral one. Digital platform increasingly rely on pervasive technology. Design choice rooted in behavioral psychology to maximize user engagement. Infinite scrolling, algorithmic constant notification are not natural features. They are intentional mechanism designed to capture attention and prolong screen time. Over time, this continuous stimulation can lead to what many describe as dopamine exhaustion, where individual feels mentally drained, distracted, and emotionally dumb despite being constantly connected. From an ethical standpoint, this raises serious questions about responsibility. Should technology prioritize profit and engagement metrics over users' mental well-being when platforms knowingly exploit human cognitive vulnerabilities? The line between service and manipulation become blurred. User may, user may believe they are exercising free choice, yet their behavior is subtly shaped by system engineered to be difficult to disage from responsible communication, therefore extend beyond polite language of or effective messaging. It includes digital literacy, the ability to critically understand how platform influence our thought, emotion, and behavior, knowing when to speak, what to consume, and when to disconnect become an ethical act in itself. Choosing to pause, log out, or set boundaries. Technology is not a rejection of technology but a conscious assertion of autonomy. And ultimately, ethical digital engagement demand accountability on both sides. Platform must adopt more human design practice and user must cultivate self-awareness and restraint in a hyper-connected world. Protecting our peace is not a weakness, it is just a responsibility.
Hmm, that is a very powerful point, and it highlights how our daily habits may be shaping our mental health more than we realize. Panelist 1, based on your research and observation, have you found any clear connectivities between constant online connectivity and increase in anxiety, stress, or what many experts now call digital burnout, especially among students?
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest psychological barriers that we face today is a FOMO, or fear of missing out. This is because we are globally connected. We aren't just comparing ourselves to our neighbors or friends, but we often comparing our life to the billions of people. So, this can create a constant state of alert in the brain.
We live in a time where silence feels uncomfortable. A delayed reply can feel like a social mistake, and not being reachable is often interpreted as a carelessness. Many of us have experienced that subtle sense of guilt when we do not respond to a WhatsApp message or an email within a few minutes. That feeling is not random. It is the emotional consequence of a culture that has greatly normalized constant availability. Human beings were never designed to exist in a permanent state of alert. From a biological perspective, the alert state was meant for moments of danger when survival was at stake. Today, however, our nervous system reacts to digital notification in much the same way. A buzzing phone, a message preview, or a typing indicator can trigger stress response such as increased heart rate, heightened anxiety, and a sense of urgency, even when nothing is truly urgent. Over time, this creates mental fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and burnout. What is most concerning is that we have come to accept this condition as normal. This brings us to the ethical dimension of instant response culture. Ethics is not only about moral rules or polite behavior. It is about examining what we allow to become normal in our life. In the digital age, we have normalized replying immediately, answering emails outside of working hours, and being accessible during moments that were once reserved for rest, family, and reflection. When someone does not respond quickly, we often assume a lack of responsibility, interest, or respect. In doing so, we have quietly turned availability into a moral obligation. Digital platforms play a powerful role in reinforcing this pressure. Features such as read receipt, online status indicator, and last seen timestamp transform communication into a forms of surveillance. They make our they make our presence visible and our absence questionable. Silence is no longer natural. It must be explained. Rest becomes something that requires justification. As a result, communication shifts from mutual understanding to continuous performance. We are no longer simply communicating. We no longer simply communicating. We are proving that we are always reachable. This expectation on has serious consequence of human sustainability. While sustainability is often discussed in environmental terms, it is equally relevant to human well-being. A sustainable human life requires rest without guilt, boundaries without apology, and moment of disconnection without fear of judgment. Yet, modern productivity culture rewards speed, responsiveness, and constant engagement. The faster we reply and the longer we stay online, the more responsible we appear. Ironically, the more we conform to this expectation, the more depleted we become. Burnout, therefore, should not be viewed as a personal weakness. It is a systemic outcome of unethical digital norms. When individuals are expected to be on call at all times, the line between work and rest dissolves. The mind never fully disengages, and recover become impossible. Over time, the erodes not only mental health but also creativity, empathy, and meaningful communication. Responsible communication must be redefined. It is not about speed, consent, access, or immediate replies. True responsibility lies in respect for time, mental space, and human limit. Responsible communication recognize that delay responses are not sign of neglect, but reflection of healthy boundaries. It value clarity over urgency and presence of over performance. Digital literacy in this sense goes beyond knowing how to use technology. It includes the ethical awareness to understand when technology begins to use us. Knowing when to disconnect is as important as knowing how to connect. Choosing to pause, to step away from the screen, or to respond later is not a rejection of responsibility, it is an assertion of autonomy. As we move forward in an increasingly connected world, we must ask ourselves difficult question. When did rest become something to feel guilty about? When did boundaries start to look like selfishness? When did silence become a moral failure? If we continue to normalize constant availability, there is creating a society that technologically efficient but humanly exhausted. Protecting our peace in a hyper-connected world is not an act of avoidance. It is an ethical choice. It is a form of responsible communication, and ultimately it is essential for human sustainability. Thank you.
Exactly. So now let's talk about the misunderstanding of multitasking. Nowadays, many students believe that they can study while scrolling TikTok or replying to chats, but scientifically, the brain doesn't multitask. It is task switches. So every time you switch, you pay a switching cost that can reduce your IQ in that moment and kills your ability to focus deeply.
So far, we have clearly identified several challenges from digital overload to emotional exhaustion and reduced focus. These issues show us that this is not just a personal problem but a global concern that affects millions of people. Now, let us shift our focus from problems to possibilities. Remember, solutions are important, especially if we want to create a healthier digital future. So, I would like to ask, are there any countries, institutions, or even organizations that are already taking positive steps to address this issue? And more importantly, what can we learn from them so that we can apply similar ideas to our own lives?
Actually, yes. Some countries have already introduced the right to disconnect clause. This means it is legally irresponsible for an employer to email a worker after 6 p.m. This is a great example of using policy to protect human sustainability.
I also think we need to discuss AI well-being. As we use AI like ChatGPT or Gemini more, we might lose our sense of self efficiency. We need to ethically balance using AI as a tool without letting it replace our critical thinking, which is a key part of mental well-being.
Hmm, that is very insightful. However, while policies and systems are important, real change often begins with individuals, of course. So I would like to bring this discussion closer to our audience, especially students like us who deals with technology every single day. What are some practical to create healthier digital habits and protect their mental well-being?
The first step is digital detox, but it doesn't have to be extreme. It's about micro detox, for example, making the dinner table or the first hour of the day a no phone zone. This restores your autonomy over your own attention.
I agree. We should also use the technology to fight the technology. I highly recommend for us to use the focus mode or do not disturb settings on our phone. By automating our boundaries, we don't have to rely only on our mental energy, which can run out after a long day of studying.
Thank you for those meaningful suggestions. We are now approaching the end of our forum, and it has certainly been an eye opening discussion. So, today's conversation reminds us that although technology continues to evolve rapidly, our responsibility to care for our mental health must evolve just as quickly. Before we conclude, I would like to invite each panelist to share a final piece advice to our audience. A simple but powerful tip on how we can become more responsible communicators in this digital age.
So, my tip is protect your focus. You cannot be a global communicator if you cannot think clearly. So practice 30 minutes tech free time every morning to sustain your mental energy.
And my tip is communicate with empathy, not just speak before you hit send or pause, as if it contributes to a healthy digital environment or if it's just adds to the noise.
Thank you both for your valuable insights and thoughtful perspective. In conclusion, the fourth industrial revolution provides us with incredible technological tools that can transform educations, communications, and society. However, we must always remember that technology is only as strong as the humans who use it. So, if you truly want to become a responsible global communicators, we must first take responsibility for our own mental health, our own mental well being, emotional balance, and ability to think clearly. Let us move forward not only as digital users, but as mindful communicators who values empathy, balance, and sustainability. Thank you for your attention and participants.